On the Wake of Radio presents The Center with your host, DC Radical One.
Greetings, friends, family, allies, and enemies. I am your host, DC Radical One, and you have entered the center. Shout out to the sister that got me started on this journey, producer Cindy Ashby. You can check us out on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeartRadio at On the Wake Up Radio. And also you can check us out on OTWTube. That's OTWTube.com. I have to check and make sure that that's still up, but that is a Black-owned platform that the sister founded. And let me greet who I see here. Before they Straight Black Pride, Brother Crow. Before they Sister Najee. Before they Straight Black Pride to Brother Elijah. Before they Brother You Got Ripped Off. Thought I missed somebody. Oh, before they Brother Tony. So we'll see how many people come in tonight. You know, I told people last night we'd be here. Last night I think we maxed out at about 60 people. Just to let you all know, they didn't take it down last night. I set it to private and edited it, and it'll be back up in the morning. So you'll be able to check it out again, and probably lost some views or whatever, but it is what it is. So I thank everybody that came through last night and watched. I was expecting more people, to be honest. You know, it is what it is. I think I'll try to get Brother Jeannie to put the email it out again, and so people can check it out. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Myself. Oh yeah, my bad too. I had a technical glitch. The computer kind of glitched on me, so I'm not even broadcasting to the original link. I had to reset it up. So I had to re-upload the I gotta do everything. I gotta re-upload the thumbnail, and there's a lot of stuff. But Straight Black Pride, the Sister Asha, you know, Brother Jenny. Well, you heard, yeah, he was overwhelmed with your advertisement and your endorsement last night. So tonight, man, we're gonna talk about the uprising, man, in the African world that is passing us by, unfortunately. And, you know, of course, you got to go back to Brother Goita, Brother Assimi Goita, Mali. And I'm going to just talk about that real quick, because I haven't seen an interview or anything with him. But basically what happened with that, and that kind of kicked everything off, really, was Baba Assimi Goita of Mali, you know, a military man, a soldier, and they were out and they were supposed to be fighting, you know, terrorists, insurrectionists, and whatnot. And when they were out, you know, risking their lives, he's fighting with brothers, and this is when the French were in charge, and basically the French were in charge. Okay, let's be real. The French were in charge, and when they were supposed to be going after the terrorists and they had a chance to wipe them out, they got orders to stand down. And then at that point, Baba Goita was like, wait a minute, I'm out here risking my life, and we got a chance to stomp these dudes out, and y'all telling us to stand down? You're like, hold up, something ain't right. So we started talking with, you know, in essence, members of his crew, you know, brothers he was fighting with, and they just came to the conclusion, they're like, nah, we're gonna be risking our lives. We might as well risk our lives for total and complete sovereignty, liberation. And you know, they're like, you're right. So guess what? We're gonna put you in charge. And he's like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, something I learned in the nation. Hey, don't volunteer any good ideas that you don't plan that you don't plan to make to put into bring into fruition. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like, do not, if you go to an organization or something, do not come up with no good ideas and think that you just can put the good ideas on the table and other people will execute. That in a black organization anyway, that is not going to happen. Maybe at your job, they'll just disregard your whole idea and you won't have to worry about it. But, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe they steal the idea and use it later or whatever. But in a black organization, no, sir. You put forth a good idea, you might as well go ahead and just bring your outline of how it's going to get it done and your plan and everything, because you are in charge of it. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. So Robert Goiter kicked that off, and then the young King Baba Traore, he looked and said, hey, that dude got a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to take a look at doing something for ourselves. And then Johnny, like, well, if this what we doing, then let's do what we doing. That formed the AES, and that is what I'm saying, that's really what kicked it off. Because then other young people looked and saw, they're like, that they were bringing sovereignty, but that people were improving, their country, improving infrastructure and funding money back to the people through their from their natural resources and stuff like that, and getting people jobs and you know what, we got a gold mine here, and these people are taking all the money out the gold mine. They ain't really giving no money to the people. Why don't we just take over the gold mine and pay the people to do what they're doing, but pay them a living wage? And so young people in the rest of Africa see that and like, wait. You know what I'm saying? Baba Traore, like, why are we buying tomatoes from other people? We can grow tomatoes right here and build a factory to can our tomatoes right here and ship them around the country or drive them around the country right here. And then he like, well, you know what? I need to make a road for that. So, all right, I'm going to make a road from here to there. He like, sir, you know how to make a road? No, I don't know how to make a road. Well, guess what? We're going to make a road. We're going to have a road making class because, you don't look like you're doing nothing. So you're going to learn, you're going to learn how to pave this road. And the dude like, you paying me? He's like, yeah, I'm going to pay you. Yeah, I want you to do it for free. You want to believe in slavery? He's like, oh, well, sign me up. You know what I'm saying? People don't know that Marion Barry did the same thing in Washington, D.C. Once he became mayor, he like, all right, so who has a trash removal company? People like, nobody. He like, don't you got an old truck? Like, yeah. Can't you pick up trash? Yeah. He's like, all right, then get your brothers. You know what I'm saying? And your cousins. Fill out this paperwork and start this company, and I give you this contract with you be trash removal, in charge of trash removal in Southeast. Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? And then look for somebody in Northeast and Southwest, and suddenly, you got 3 major trash removal companies in the city of Washington, D.C. So, I mean, it sounds simple, and it is and it isn't. The hard part is getting in a position to do it. But once you're in a position to do it, really, that's the part that's easy. Because you in charge, right? That's it. Black people so used to not being in charge, and when we get in charge, we so used to abusing our people, we don't really realize that you can be in charge and be nice to your people and look out for your people and protect your people and love your people and be loved and protected by your people when that happens, right? Like this concept just escapes us. I mean, around the world, not just in America. Like, we look and we see it, we're like, hey, this person helping black people. What is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, we be looking confused, like what is happening? So that is really the spirit that is permeating throughout Africa right now, that the people who don't have that type of leadership are looking at that type of leadership in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and Niger, and they're like, wait, hold up. If they can do that, how come we can't do that? And then the young people are like, well, ain't no reason, because I'm young and I'm not trying to be 74 still waiting for neo-colonialism. And so what I got to do, and that's really what's going down. They just like, look, I mean, I talk to the young people, they so beautiful, man, and they just so hopeful and vibrant. And I mean, the future of Africa, if these people get in charge and they follow the lead of AES, man, it would be magnificent. You know what I'm saying? Because their spirit is beautiful, and they want liberation, and they want freedom and justice, and they want just good things, just the things that people want in life everywhere, but especially black people. Black people really want to enjoy themselves, have peace, good weather. You know what I'm saying? Brothers want beautiful sisters. Sisters want, you know what I'm saying, beautiful, strong brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what y'all want, but you know, we just be making it complex. And then let's just be honest. You know, the blinding touch of Satan touches us around the world. It's not just here. You know what I'm saying? And I was just thinking about some stuff today. There's some teaching that Elijah Muhammad had taught about the devil causing trouble amongst the righteous people by telling lies, causing them to fight and kill one another. And I thought about that and the story that he had surrounding that, right? And I said, man, through these folk tales and this folklore and this mythology, if you will, is really some deep science, because that's really what's happening. When you look on the internet, people are using false stats, false narratives, and lies and deceit to cause us to argue amongst each other and fight amongst each other and debate each other while we're being exterminated. You see what I'm saying? So the devil's telling lies, causing us to fight and kill with it, right? I saw somebody, they posted something about the crack epidemic, and I'm thinking to myself, man, you weren't there, bro. Hey, no disrespect to nobody, but you weren't there. One thing I did when I was young, I asked the people who were there, because I wanted to understand. Like, when I found out that Martin Luther King wasn't the end all be all for black people, I was like, all right, so how come y'all didn't follow this Malcolm X guy? If that's a good, like, literally, that was my question. But like, when I found out, I'm like, because the Martin Luther King thing always sounded like some sucker stuff to me. So what happened? He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, I would ask older people, what happened? Like, how did this become the path that we followed when there were alternatives there, right? That's the thing. That's the thing I ain't understanding. Like, to this day, really, if we're being honest, the whole how we just all went along with the integration thing isn't really clear to me. But I asked the people who were alive, because I was not alive. I wasn't there to vote, wasn't there to argue, wasn't there to debate people, wasn't there to say y'all stupid. And like, you know what I'm saying? None of that. Wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. To be honest, my mother was relatively young, you know what I'm saying? And my grandmother, she was grown, you know. But a lot of people, they just looked at it as, hey man, if it's gonna be less oppression, I'm with it. Right? Then a lot of my people were Christian, and Martin Luther King was a Christian, and my people were Muslim. And they didn't, you know, that was weird to them back then. right? Like the ideology of quote unquote Orthodox Islam is way closer to Christianity than what Elijah Muhammad taught. Now, what Farrakhan teaches is way closer to Christianity than what Elijah Muhammad taught. Like, it's not the same thing. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. I'm just saying, I've studied them both. I was in the nation with Farrakhan. Excuse me. Of course, I was, wasn't basically, I missed the original nation. Let's just put it like that. But I've read all Elijah Muhammad's books. And him and Farrakhan teachers, it ain't really the same thing. They are connected, but they're not the same. It's not the same thing, not the same spirit. Especially the host, Prophet Muhammad, but that's a whole nother stuff. So the young people are uprising. There's only one problem. And it really goes back to what I was saying about the Malcolm Martin thing. The one problem is they have not learned that there's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. I wish I had that Malcolm X clip. I can't remember what speech it's from, but I never forget he said that. I'll never forget as long as I live. If I die in struggle, I want y'all to raise some money and put on my tombstone, there's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. Brother, you got ripped off, you're in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? You have to fundraise for that. Don't spend your money and get the people to spend that money. But if I die in struggle, if these people decide they had enough of me yapping, you know what I'm saying? Or if I go to another country and they have an uprising and I just be like, I just jump in with them like, hey man, come on, let's do it, let's get free. And I don't come back. Hey man, just put that on my tombstone. There's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. And I didn't really realize what Malcolm was saying until you really understand that people in power are going to do whatever it takes to be in power. And so even if you're nonviolent, they're not nonviolent. So it's still not a nonviolent revolution. The biggest lie, and I don't think I've said this publicly, but I thought it, and I was going to write an essay on it. Hey man, bruh, you got ripped off. Say, come on, dog. What are we talking about here? I might ask Brother Genie too what it looked like yesterday. By the way, what was I gonna say? Oh no, I don't think I've said this publicly, but I'm saying it publicly now. One of the biggest lies that we've accepted as people is the myth of nonviolent social change. I don't know if you don't hear that term anymore, right? They retired that term. That was a term they used to talk about with, how Martin Luther King, quote unquote, freed black people, was nonviolent social change. I said, that's a lie. Man, we swallowed that lie, hook, line, and sinker, to the point that it's so accepted that no one says it, we just act it out. Think about it, right? Think about it. Every time something happens, what do? Right? Since the Black Lives Matter, we march, we protest. Before we can figure out what actually happened, Trump shows up, and what's his name? Perm man, CI7 shows up. Trump shows up, and they say whatever they say, which is a bunch of horse manure, and they try to defuse the situation. One day the young people just gonna stomp them people out, or whoever is in their position. That one day they just gonna get stomped out. And if I'm still alive, I'm like, told y'all. Just, hey man, listen. This idea that you can get power peacefully is a ridiculous concept. It's just not how it works. It's not how it works. You have to at least use the threat of violence, right? I think about it. The reason that Goita, Shiani, and Traore can take over is because they're military men. And you don't have to question whether or not they will do what's necessary. Hey, look, hey man, listen. You suck at your job. We need somebody else to replace you. And then if you, the president, you say, man, or what you gonna do about it? And once he started reaching for that sidearm, and all the military on his side, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no debating. You know what I'm saying? Just pack up and roll out. Or if you about that life, you reach for yours and see how it works out. That's how it works. Like it's so wild to me. And I ain't gonna be on that long tonight because I don't even really. I know y'all like, man, he just gone up on the deep end already. I don't even really feel like getting into it, but man, listen. Like I said, this idea that you can change things for the better by being nice and sweet and y'all know what I'm saying, man. It's just not gonna happen. So I love the Kenyan young people. I love the Kenyan young people. The young people I met, man, they were so beautiful spiritually. You know what I'm saying? The sisters, young sisters. It's so funny because a couple of them, I'm like, man, you look like a model. Like, what are you doing over here? And there was one little young humble sister's like, I'm going back home and I'm going to dedicate my life to the revolution. Yeah, I just looked at her, got a little choked up. Want to give her a hug and be like, hey, ancestors are with you. It's like you making that statement, ancestors. So, shout out to the Kenyan youth, the Tanzanian youth from Madagascar, man, everybody. Brother Crow says Camtrell got. Oh yeah, he always got that sidearm on him. You know what I'm saying? He ain't playing. And I was watching the video. He always does the fist pump, but he always does the fist pump. He always rocks the glove. Yeah, he's like, nah, bro. He's like, y'all try to hit me with the poison needle thing or whatever. I don't know if y'all ever seen what was your favorite TV show? 24. It was like the second or third season of 24. But they got the president with that. They got him with the poison handshake. Yeah, Captain Traore must have saw that episode. He's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, y'all can't catch me slipping at all. You gonna have to come straight at me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember for a while they was rocking the mask. So him and his whole squad was rocking the mask. So you couldn't be totally sure who was who. And I love that, brother. He just ancestrally sent. Like he just is such a G. You know what I'm saying? He just like, look, I'm about it. You know what I'm saying? So I saw him with him and over there. He was over there in Kremlin or whatever, meeting Putin. You could tell Putin was like, okay, yeah, this is a man. And yeah, Putin not that big, but like Putin was like one of them. He's like one of them white dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them old fishing with his street and chopping wood with his shirt off in the wintertime type of white dude. Y'all know, y'all know. Yeah, y'all ever met one of them dudes that went to school with one of them dudes? You like, oh Lord, this is one of these. He's one of these real caveman type cats. You know what I'm saying? Gotta watch this dude. Like Putin is like that type of dude for real. They be showing them doing stuff. I'm like, yo, what is this man doing? So we met Traore, man, and he was smiling like, okay, yeah, this is a man here. Like, yeah, we can negotiate some things. Like, I can help them out. So, you can just tell, man, his presence, the brother's impressive. And part with Goita, man, it's just like, he just one of them, he just seemed like one of them quiet, thorough dudes. It's just, like, if you ever been around them dude, you're like, you know what? Gotta keep 1.5 eyes on this dude. He ain't said nothing all night, which means he probably skilled enough to kill everybody in here. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't understand. Like, as a man, sometimes you got to go in places and size up everybody. There's always that one person that you like, yeah, that's the biggest threat in here. Don't even nobody know it. He trying to make himself smaller and stay out the way. Nah, bro, I see you. I see you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want no smoke with you today. I'm here to enjoy myself. But I do see you, just in case. But Sister Asha said, Asar Shakur talks about this in her autobiography. You do not get freedom by appealing to the moral sense of your person. Absolutely not. Because if he had any morals, he wouldn't have been he wouldn't have been a president. That's kind of how it works. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can't do that. That's not gonna help. So let me read one of these articles. Get into it real quick while we talk about these G's. This is World Politics Review. I'm really not familiar with them, but I saw this, so I said, I'm gonna check it out. So we'll be studying it together to see if it's see what we can learn from there. See whether we agree or they want some nonsense. It says from Antananarivo from hey man, hold up. From where? I don't know what that is. To Rabat. Young demonstrators have taken to the streets carrying a message that the social contract is broken and their patience has run out. Over the past 18 months, youth-led protests have rattled Morocco's constitutional monarchy, forced Kenyan President William Ruto to withdraw a controversial tax hike, and toppled the government of Andre Rajoelina in Madagascar. Like their Asian counterparts, leaderless and digitally coordinated Gen Z protests are rewriting Africa's political script and exposing failures of government in real time. Unlike the 2010-2011 Arab Spring uprisings against entrenched authoritarian regimes, this generation of protests have predominantly occurred in countries with multi-party systems and elected governments. Yet these democracies have proven unable to translate electoral mandates into basic service delivery and economic opportunity. Consequently, the concept of democracy has become an empty promise for a generation of African youth. Right? So let me stop. Let me stop right there. Right? Stop right there. Just say this real quick. I know, bro, but I can't pronounce the word. I was just struggling. I just had to take the L on my pronunciation. People gonna read this and be like, "This fool is illiterate." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't know what the words say either." So we be illiterate together. I ain't gonna lie. I was in the library last week and saw a book that said, I think it said phonics. No, the phonics, or it either said phonics or phonetics. I can't remember. For adults, I was like, oh my goodness, reading book for adults. But I'm like, hell, if you still trying to read and you trying to learn, who am I to hate on that? But yeah, this democracy thing, man. Look, listen. I was thinking about this the other day. And brother, you got ripped off. One day we're gonna have to chop it up. And see what's a good time to try to get Baba Rudy or Baba and Mama to come on. And I know he did the book a long time ago, but I would definitely like to talk about that identity book as I get deeper into it again. I got halfway through it the first time and never finished it. So, we had to do that. And it's been time for me to have Bob on for real. But I was reading Identity, man. He's talking about the Asili and culture, and as I was reading, I was thinking to myself, and of course, Dr. Chancellor Williams talks about this too. But I don't know where my destruction of black civilization is. I know where it is, but where it is within that space, I don't know where. But I was thinking that when you try any system that is against You say just been waiting on you to tell me because I wanted to ask him when we were in Georgia. Well, you should have. You should have just called me and been like, "Hey, what you doing?" I've been like, "Nothing." He was like, "Hey, man, talk about real quick." I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on, let me compose myself." Yeah, but yeah, 'cause I forgot. I knew you were going down there, didn't you? We'll talk. Anyway, yeah, but I was thinking, I was like, as I was reading, I was like, man, your system of government, your system of economics, your system of like the way you do everything societally has to be within the confines of your culture, or it will not serve your people, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, am I making sense right now? Sister, I was just saying, we feel like family. Hey, thank you, sister. We appreciate you. You know, we appreciate you. Can't wait to meet you and your king, and whoever y'all may add to the family by the time we meet. But yeah, we look forward to that. But I don't know if even the young people have grasped that concept. Like, we're trying to implement concepts. We're trying to implement Western concepts within would-be sovereign spaces, and the space isn't sovereign until you implement the African concepts. You see what I'm saying? So realistically, that a part of Sankofa, right? Go back and fetch it. A part of Sankofa is what system were we running that I can adapt to modern times and implement? What system were we running economically? What system were we running politically? Right? What system were we running like our technology? Like, we had technology like running water and iron smelting and all this stuff that wasn't destructive to the environment. The way we built things wasn't destructive to the environment. So what can we learn from that? Like in Mali, they still build structures, their mosque and houses and stuff right out of the earth. They start, it's like, okay, here's the ground. And they take it and they take mud and they put it up and they dry it out and they just build it up and they keep building it and they put sticks in it to be able to walk up the side of the wall, and they build the wall, and then they just have something magnificent after a while, right? I can't even go to, I don't even know they have that exhibit anymore. They have an exhibit in the I can't remember what museum, but they have an exhibit in the museum where they show how it's done. I can't even go in there no more because the government still shut down. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of them things where I just forget. And then sometimes I'll go downtown and I'll see a sign or something really like, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the shutdown sign. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's been up there for over a month. Anyway, point being, we have systems in place for everything before Europeans even existed, or at least before we knew they existed. Now maybe they was in the caves somewhere doing their thing, but we can't limit ourselves. The failure is in limiting ourselves to European ideals while claiming that we're quote unquote free and or sovereign, right? Sister says, I remember a sister asking me how would I identify a cultural Black woman. I replied, a Black woman who has studied and know the difference between Eurocentric thought, culture, ideology versus African-centric. There it is. Right. You have to, I'm gonna put this up. You have to understand that there are genocultural differences. Barbara Rooney talks about this. That there are genocultural differences between Black people and white people, and Black people and Asian people, and Black people and whoever else. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I don't know why I do know why. about to tell a lie. I know why. Because they tell us that this is a problem. Uh-oh, I got some noise in the background. Hopefully y'all don't hear that. But I hear it. I hear it. Anyway. But yeah, this idea that there's a universal, how can I put it? That there's a I mean, do all people have culture? Yes. All people have culture. But are all of those cultures the same? No. And the cultures are not the same because what Elijah Muhammad said, the origin of a thing determines its nature. Right? So, if a people are trying, and here's what's deep, and y'all let me know y'all still here, because I'm having some sound issues on my end where I can no longer hear the music. I don't know what's going on, but let's see. Hold on. All right, cool. Here's what has happened. Here's what is happening. Right. We're being taught that everybody is the same after being taught that we were lesser than everybody. Right? Now, why is that? Because in order for the people to not identify an enemy, if everybody is the same, then nobody is the enemy. You see how that works? So if we're all the same, we're all human beings, right? You know what I'm saying? If we're all human beings, then the evil is the fault, excuse me, it's the fault of human beings. The evil isn't the fault of Europeans or white so-called Jews or Ashkenazim or Arabs or Asians or, you know what I'm saying? Like whoever it is that we say, hey, that's the evil. Hey, no. No. If you say, oh yes, evil is endemic to the human condition. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No. Right. So, do people make mistakes universally? Absolutely. That's part of growth and development. But evil is not endemic to everybody. You don't have no record of black people in ancient times when we had power just running around, rampaging, raping, killing, robbing, burning up people's stuff, and acting a fool. You don't have no record of that. Okay, no, white people don't even claim to have a record of that. That's what's so deep about it. White people don't claim to have no record of that because they think that that's civilization, and they proud when they do that. So they look at us, they say, oh, they don't rape, rob, and kill people. They not civilized. Think about how they think about this, right? That's how deep this is. If you really talk to white people off the record, especially white males, they be low key like, well, slavery is your fault because you got enslaved. Ha ha. They like, you know what I'm saying? They like, because you wasn't strong enough to fight, too bad for you. So again, what did I say is a European proverb? I told you all a long time ago, a European proverb is what? Might makes right, right? So as far as they concerned, well, my ancestors conquered your ancestors, so your ancestors were weak, so therefore they uncivilized. My ancestors were civilized. But for black people, it's truth, justice, righteousness, reciprocity. So for us, doing evil to people for no reason is uncivilized. To them, might makes right. Like, so understanding and studying our proverbs shows you that genoculturally, We are diametrically opposed. But you're not allowed to study that in modern schools, because then you can start delineating who's who. You can start looking at people's history and their culture, and then you can what? Predict their behavior. And then you can start pointing out the evil. You say, okay, this is evil. Right. So think about it. This is why, man, listen. This is why in today's environment, the Ashkenazim and the handful of Sephardim that are left over in Israel can go and slaughter people and nobody won't do nothing, because they'll be like, well, who are you to stop us from killing people? Look at what you're doing in your country, right? So Israel will point to China's dirt with man, what are the Muslims over there called that they've been killing? It's some Muslims over there they've been killing, and then it's some other Chinese people they've been over there. The Uyghurs, they've been killing them, and then there's some other Chinese people they've been killing, and some of their own people in the country that they've been killing, right? So China don't want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Russia got too many Jews in the government, so they got to walk. You know what I'm saying? Watch how they walk. Of course, the U.S. I mean, we know what that is. Who else is on the Security Council? That's like half the Security Council I just named. And Britain wrote, look, Rothschilds bailed out Britain so many times that they own Britain at this point, so they ain't gonna do nothing. So nobody gonna do nothing. And all of them have been guilty of that evil and more, so ain't nobody gonna say nothing. The only people that have the moral authority to say something, once again, is black people. We haven't done no evil like that, so we can look at that and say, hey man, this evil is crazy. Like this come on, this is too evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, even we looking at them like, okay, even for y'all, this is crazy. Like, y'all live streaming genocide, burning up children. They killing women and children on the daily. It's insane. I'm gonna just be honest. I couldn't be in charge because we just gonna have nuclear war. Because I'm not gonna wait for the genocide to come next to me. Nah. No, sir. I'm not gonna sit around. I'm not gonna be like Iran and sit around and wait for the genocide to come on my door. No, sir. That's why I respect the Houthis. Houthis are Muslim or whatever. They probably don't like black people, but I respect them. You know why? Because whenever they see evil, they're real Muslims. They like, wait a minute, are some Muslims being oppressed over there? They like, oh, hold up, let me read the Quran. Muslims. Okay, y'all ain't not. Yeah, hey, shoot some missiles over there, blow them up. Every for a while they was blowing up. See, people don't talk about this. For a while, the Houthis were just sending like a missile a day to Israel that Israel couldn't shoot down. They would just like I don't know what their stockpile is or how they were still getting them, or they learn how to make them themselves or whatever. They would just take one missile a day, fire it into Israel, blow up something, and say, as long as you keep killing our brothers and sisters, we gonna keep firing missiles. and the dude would come on. I don't know the dude's name, man. He's funny to me. And he come on and he speak Arabic and he talk his trash and he's like, I forgot what their name or their organization is, but he's like, whatever their organization is, he's like, I'm General such and such, and of the People's Liberation Organization of such and such and such, and we will continue to fight against the Zionist entity and destroy them as long as they're destroying our people. We will continue this fight as long as we live. And then he cuts his computer off and goes to pray or do whatever he do and play it with his wife. And he wake up the next day and guess what he do? He make that announcement again and he fires another missile. You know what I'm saying? Like, they fire missiles almost as often as they pray. You know what I'm saying? And I can respect that, because when you fight for liberation, that's how it's supposed to be. It's 24/7 job. You know what I'm saying? If he make that announcement, somebody else got to be on the button firing away. And you're supposed to fight for your people, either free or you're dead. And How can we hate on that? So the Houthis, I respect them. You know what I'm saying? They the only, as far as I'm concerned, if we being honest, that's the only Muslim government I see in the whole world. You know what I'm saying? Like the Iran, they kind of shaky with it. It's sometimes they scared, they like half Muslim. Half the people want to fight, the other half want to negotiate. You can't negotiate with evil, man. As black people, we tell you, we've been trying to negotiate with evil for 400 years. Look where this got us. Can't negotiate with evil. It's just no such thing as nonviolent revolution. There's just no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. Somebody's gonna get killed. Whether it's you or them. That's why I respect the young people, but once you do the peaceful protest thing, hey man, somebody got to call Captain Traore or somebody. Call the Wagner group, something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you don't call, hey, I'm just saying. One thing about Mr. Putin, if you got some people that are trained and know how to fight, he gonna send you something. He gonna back you up. I just found out not only China, but that Mr. Putin had sent some down to the Caribbean. Hey man, So I'm just saying, we ain't even, bruh. I'm gonna be honest. The Arabs didn't even give us room to negotiate. Just being completely honest, they just like, because this is what people don't understand about the whole Arab thing. Because people don't really study that history. Here's what people don't get about Islam. This is the biggest hidden history of Islam. Them people that you see right now are not the original Arabs. The takeover of Islam by someone needs to write a book. I was thinking about this the other day. Someone needs to write a book about the whitening of the world. That's the most significant historical event that's taken place in the history of the world, is an undocumented historical event, which is the whitening of the world. And now I know y'all like, wait, hold up, what you mean? Okay, so what's our barber's name that passed away about 4 or 5 years ago? He probably took that jab and he was already out of shape. Dr. Runoko Rashidi, right? Dr. Runoko Rashidi was going around the world. He going all in Asia. I remember at the time, I'm like, man, what he going in Asia for? He going all up in Asia. I mean, you just look at parts of India, people black as the ace of spades. So you got people in India, you got two sets of black people in India. People don't understand. You got the black people in India that were there before what we see now, before the Aryans came down and started mixing and came up with a religion to mix and all that stuff, right? Then you got the enslaved black people that came, that were brought there. So you got two sets of black people, two sets of African people in India. Nobody talks about that. Two different sets from two different time periods, two vastly different time periods in India. One indigenous Indian population. Actually, it's three sets. I forgot. So you got an original black Indian population, right? You have a secondary black population coming out of Ethiopia as part of the Kushite Empire that Drusilla Dungy Houston talked about. And then you have the third enslaved population that was brought in. So you have a 3-part black population that's part of India that isn't really talked about, and they're kind of pushed in the back. So that's a major part of Africa. I mean, major part of Asia, because they call it the Indian subcontinent. So you got all those people. Then you go to other parts of Asia, and you see remnants of black people in sculptures and things like that. And look, Siddhartha Gautama, aka the Buddha, okay, Sazash, we appreciate you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and thank you for your advertisement, for Brother Genie. And we will be supporting you. All right, Sister Straight Black Pride. Sister said that good fortune is headed my way. I hope you are correct, sister. I hope you are very much correct. Oh yeah, Siddha, the Buddha. Y'all ever seen pictures of that dude? I mean, the sculptures of that dude. Now, the mythology is that he was hot one day and snails crawled on his head, and that's why his head looks like that, because those are snails on his head. That's not his natural hair or natural hairstyle. That's what the mythology says. I'm gonna let y'all take all the time you need to process that information that I have just thought. So, yeah, look. So Buddha was black, bro. Okay, or at least based on a black person. A black African person took basically a form of ancient Kemetic wisdom to India, modified it to teach them, and became a mythological person, in essence. I forgot who wrote about it. I read a book on it 30 years ago. It's some stuff I read so long ago. It's just part of my subconscious, and it only comes out when I'm having discussions. My point being, because I know y'all like these to get to the point, but here's the point. The point is, like I said, somebody needs to write a book on the whitening of the world. Like we need to study that to figure out what happened, because it's a precursor to what happened here. Like I said, the people that are Arabs now are not the original Arabs. Like there's actually the reason they don't teach a lot of pre-Islamic history to the world is because there's a lot of pointing back to Africa and pointing to black people in Arabia before Islam, right? So that's why they don't talk about it. Just being completely honest. And a lot of that stuff it's actually some stuff in the Library of Congress that is written in Arabic, or at least it was 30 years ago. I talked to the dude that was the curator of that area, and I talked to him about what some of the stuff was and what they had and things like that. I mean, it is what it is. That's what I used to do when I was young. When I wasn't being a degenerate, I was being a scholar. Being a scholarly degenerate for a little part of my life. Right? So anyway, let me get back to the modern times, and I didn't mean to take y'all back in the time trip. Brother, you got ripped off says, if y'all ever get a chance to have a one-on-one conversation with a brother, you wonder why he's not a professor somewhere. Here's what's gonna make you laugh. Here's what's gonna make you laugh, brother. You got ripped off. That's literally my mother's nickname for me. Hey, apparently I missed my calling. Somebody else told me I make a good lawyer, but I don't know. But listen, I digress. This is one of them stream of consciousness shows. Oh, I told you. Okay, cool. But what I'm gonna do, man, I'm gonna run these 2 reports on what's going on in Tanzania, and then we'll come back and I will run. We'll come back and we'll talk about it. So yeah, y'all check out this video real quick.
Hello and welcome. Today we begin with the latest updates from a deadly turmoil in Tanzania. The protests that erupted after a contentious election in the country seem far from over. Instead, they have now split into Tanzania's neighbouring country, Kenya. The border town of Namanga witnessed violent unrest, with Kenyans alleging that the Tanzanian police targeted them. The police allegedly lobbed tear gas canisters across the border and fired live ammunition. The videos from the area showed protesters scattering in panic as tear gas and echoes of gunshots filled the air, leaving behind the injured person they were carrying. Later, the security forces were seen dragging a body away from the protest site.
We have a challenge of protests from the Tanzanian side, and we ourselves do not have protests. We do not want protests at all. If they want protests, they should take it to Tanzania. But the Tanzanian police are wrong, because why would they lob tear gas from the Tanzanian side to Kenya? That is wrong.
We have a problem because one of us has been shot, and we do not know why they are shooting at us. When Tanzanians fight us, we Kenyans do not have a problem with them. Why are they shooting at us in our area?
Back in Tanzania, where the protests initially started, hundreds of young citizens could be seen gathering in groups in the commercial capital Dar es Salaam for a third day on October the 31st. The protesters torched rubble and tore down posters of Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan. The stir that followed an election with no opposition has reportedly killed 2 people so far, while the opposition claims that the death toll has reached around 700. This as an internet shutdown, a curfew and deployment of the military remain in place. And as the government's crackdown on protesters continues, the Tanzanian military chief called the protesters criminals.
Dear Tanzanians, you all remember that some people went to the streets on October 29th and committed criminal acts. These are criminals. And the criminal acts should be stopped immediately.
The Hassan-led government is facing widespread criticism for its crackdown on protesters. The Human Rights Watch accused the Tanzanian authorities of suppressing the political opposition and critics of the ruling party. The massive uproar is against the election in which incumbent President Hassan is slated to win, since all her opponents were either jailed or barred from running. The unrest has also disrupted cross-border trade operations with Kenya, leaving traders and travellers stranded in both nations. But even as the crackdown continues, will the authorities be able to quell the dissent? And will that mark a significant chapter of change in Tanzania's history?
Dar es Salaam has become a city of smoke and defiance. What began as frustration over disputed election has transformed into a national revolt, a movement now defined by one phrase, tunatembea hadi Ikulu. It is October 31st, 2025, and Tanzania's political crisis is deepening. For weeks before the election, tension simmered. Opposition leader Tundu Lissu had been jailed under incitement charges. His party Chadema was barred from the ballot until 2030. ACT Wazalendo's Luhaga Mpina faced disqualification twice. Diaspora Tanzanians held candlelight vigils in the US, sending petitions to the IMF and World Bank, warning against financing oppression. At home, anger grew. Boda Boda drivers protested, bus commuters clashed with police, and activists circulated a 10-point demand list for reforms, free media, a new constitution, and the end of disappearances.
Tunataka serikali ya Tanzania ikome mara moja kutumia vikosi vya usalama kunyamazisha, kugandamiza na kuwaua Watanzania. Ya tatu, tunasema kwamba lazima kuwe na uchunguzi wa wazi kwa yale maovu yaliyotendwa pamoja na mauaji na mengineo.
There have been deaths, abductions. Restore constitutional order in your countries and respect the human rights of your people.
Immediate restoration of internet access and all communication channels to allow citizens, journalists, and human rights defenders to freely share information. 2. Immediate cessation of violence by Tanzanian security forces against unarmed civilians and unconditional release of all detained protesters and political prisoners.
Tanzania was ready to erupt. Election day was anything but peaceful. In Dar es Salaam, crowds flooded Salenda Bridge, tearing down Samia Suluhu's campaign banners and setting ablaze police station. Petrol stations burned, tires lined the streets, police responded to tear gas, bullets and curfews. Reports indicated 5 to 10 deaths in Dar es Salaam alone, with both civilians and officers killed. The internet went dark at 6 p.m. sharp.
Those were sham elections. It was Suluhu versus Samia. She was competing with her own shadow. Today, maybe now, it will be coronation saying she has won.
As Tanzania's internet vanished, so did the silence. Protesters turned to Zelle, an offline walkie-talkie app, to coordinate movements and share safe routes from Ubongo to Mbagala, from Mwanza to Arusha. The message spread. March to State House, show them the power belongs to the people. Plainclothes officers infiltrated the crowds, tear gas blanketed the streets. Still, groups moved toward Magogoni, the heavily guarded presidential compound. Their chants were raw, angry, and symbolic. In Mwanza, protesters set fire to a government office. In Arusha, students clashed with riot police near City Hall. In Morogoro, traders joined the demonstrations, paralyzing transport routes. Roads leading to Julius Nyerere International Airport were blocked. Long-distance drivers slept on highways as tear gas echoed through the night. By morning, civil servants and students were ordered to stay home. Business in the city center collapsed. The march to State House was no longer just a protest, it had become a movement. With social media restricted, young organizers relied on Zelle and Bluetooth drop networks to spread live voice updates. Channels with names like Uhuru Channel, March 25th, and Ikulu Connect guided crowds block by block. The leadership was decentralized, no single figure, no clear command. It was a people's protest, leaderless but united. The State House March was now both a physical act of rebellion and digital symbol of defiance.
So, yeah, that's the report. Let's see, brother, you got Rizzo says, this is why we tell people to get their hands on books and DVDs, because the internet can be turned off at any time. And since 2020, hold up, there's a very salient point, very powerful statement. I'm gonna read this again. Brother, you got ripped off says, this is why we tell people to get their hands on books and DVDs, because the internet can be turned off at any time. And since 2020, at least 8 countries have shown us this. Right. And we're also in a time where, I mean, with this Palantir and this other stuff that they're doing, and I might as well put this up too, you know, if you find this information to be worthwhile, you know, consider making a donation to the cause via Cashapp, $DC Radical 1. Your dollars are greatly appreciated. You can also donate via Zelle, as it says right here, at dc.radical_1@protonmail.com. But no, that's a salient point. And it's such a salient point that I've actually heard Europeans discuss this as far as just like stuff that's not significant. Entertainment. They're saying, yeah, man, get your physical media of, for example, like the old Star Wars. You know, George Lucas was changing up the original and then he sold it to somebody, and now they can do whatever they want. They're like, nah, I want the original stuff. So the idea that knowledge is going to be, and let me say that the idea that knowledge is just freely available now, to the brother's point, I just saw an article that said that YouTube, that we're on now, YouTube had deleted like 700 videos dealing with the whole Palestinian genocide. It just quietly erased them without notification or anything. So to the brother's point, the idea that this stuff is just going to be here and that you can just plug in your computer and turn it on and your Wi-Fi is going to connect you to the rest of the world is not guaranteed, even if you pay your bill. Okay? So yeah, that's the report on what's going on in Tanzania. And I guess let us get back to this article. Let's see, we passed the earth. It says the economic roots of Gen Z's discontent. The current wave of protests is part of an eruption of economic pressures that have been building since the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted supply chains and decimated tourism revenues. Russia's subsequent full-scale invasion of Ukraine sent food and fuel prices soaring across the continent, heavily dependent on imported grain from those two countries. And first of all, let's start right here. Excuse me. Why in the world is Africa dependent on importing grain from anyone when it's the most lush place in the world? Right. I mean, that's a part of sovereignty, right? You have 54 countries, you have 11.2 million square miles, and you have really at least 2 climates, maybe 3 on the continent. You can grow anything there, even if you can't grow everything everywhere on the continent, but you can grow anything on the continent in one place or another. So why in the world are people depending on outside grain outside of the continent? Because we're other than ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only explanation. Because we're other than ourselves. We have on the continent literally everything we need to be the supreme dominant power on planet Earth. You got every mineral resource, every ability to grow every crop. You have the mental power. You have people with genius intellects. You have people with business acumen. You have, you just have people with the capacity to do anything. And we don't do it because we hate ourselves. And we love our enemies. And we worship their image. We worship the beast. For being honest. That's the problem. Anytime a jet black woman in Uganda can run around talking about they love their white men, you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is an issue here. And that's just an example. The number one impediment to African liberation is black self-hatred and love of our enemies. Point blank period. And that contrary to popular belief, that wasn't always the case. When we loved ourselves, when we loved our blackness, we were rulers of the planet. Which is why they keep making sure that we don't love ourselves. So I don't want to talk about that part though. So that aspect of spiritual, psycho-spiritual liberation and returning to your genocultural roots is essential aspect of any type of liberation or sovereignty movement is going to take place. So when I believe it's Baba Goita that said that they're going to stop teaching French in school, they on the right track. Because why should you teach French on African soil? Why should French be a language you teach? It shouldn't be. Or any other language, European language. Like it should be an elective if people want to learn that so they can be an ambassador or something like that. Other than that, no need for our children to learn all that stuff. For what? When Africa got so many languages, I don't even think people can count them all. There are plenty of languages. You know what I'm saying? There's people on the continent know 6, 7, 8, 9 languages. Make one of them the national language and go from there. I'm sure everybody want to argue about it, but we'll be all right once we finish arguing. I'm just looking at something talking about Trump is going to. Trump is going to cut air traffic in 40 major markets if shutdown continues. Well, I hope nobody needs to take an airplane because, yeah, that's just made that much harder. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Put this up. I haven't seen that. Brother says, since you brought up Uganda, I seen Dr. Mubi saying Museveni is threatening Gen Z there to not follow in the process. Well, I mean, here's the good part. These uprisings are gonna make everybody. We're gonna see who's who, right? And we're gonna see which ruler is who's with the people, and who's out for themselves. Everybody's gonna be exposed. And the people that's out for themselves or the people that's rolling with the enemy, hey, we know who we're going to have to roll on. Plain and simple. It's kind of disappointing that spirit hasn't come here at all. We're too busy inward, like I said yesterday. Busy inward and being nature. Like I'm telling y'all don't think I'm crazy, man. I'm telling y'all that music hypnotizing our people, man. I be looking at young brothers running around and they be yelling at stuff, and what they saying don't even be making sense. They just yelling. It sounds like they just yelling incoherently until you stop and you were like, oh nah, he's reciting some rap song. And the rap song is just a bunch of gibberish. Like some of this stuff doesn't even sound. Here's what's crazy. Some of this stuff doesn't even sound like English. Here's what's crazy. I don't know how many of y'all remember that dude Designer had that song Panda, where he just sounded like he was mumbling or whatever. I don't know what he was saying. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like somebody with Tourette's syndrome. Man, I actually heard that dude rhyming, like blowing. Like he actually can rhyme. I'm like, no, what? I was like, who is this? So our people be putting on, they be doing blackface and step and fetch and stuff through hip hop. Mumble rapping their way to, some of them pretend to be illiterate. Now some of them are illiterate. They ain't pretending. But that dude pretended to be illiterate. What's his name? What's his name started it? 2 Chainz, whatever. He pretended to be illiterate. That dude used to rap. Our people are paid to make our people stupid. Now Cardi B, she is stupid. She ain't pretending. Like she just, why black women support Cardi B when she ain't even black again? Hey, bro, you got ripped off. This is not Jay if you still here. Remind me to talk about that tomorrow. You know, when we talk about who's black and who ain't and who needs to stand up for black people. Because I wasn't following Cardi B. Cardi B ain't even black. Any other time, if we're being honest, black women be hating on her because she quote unquote light skinned, but she ain't even that. She ain't no part black. Like, I saw her parents, like, she's a white Latina. I don't know if she be tanning or using it, you know, whatever. And then Diggs, one of the Diggs brothers from Montgomery County, they messing with that. I know good and well y'all mother be looking at y'all like y'all crazy, but shout out to the Diggs boys. But come on, man. Y'all be rolling around in the dirt with them bras. Y'all be bringing on, like, what in the world is happening? I know they ain't teach y'all that in Montgomery County. Get out Montgomery. I got nice houses and parents are middle class. You bring it home. You reproduce it. Anyway, my bad. I just veered off course. So basically, in a nutshell, the young people, they don't feel like the money is being shared, that the economic prospects are that the economic prospects for the future are very bright, and they tired, and they see what's going on in the AES, and they're like, how can we get some of that? And so they just like, well, let's take it to the street, and whatever happens, happens, and that's where it is. That's where it is. That's what it is. That's what happened in Madagascar. That's what happened in Tanzania. That's what happened in Kenya. It's another country. Where, brother, you gotta help me out. Which country is that where the dude is like 92? He just got reelected, and the young people are like, all right, that's it. like they literally just like, all right, man, hold up. This dude 100 years old. Hell no, I'm not, no, sir. You got to get out of here. I forgot what country it is, but they just were like, no, sir. Not, heck no. This dude been president since my grandfather was alive. He done passed. Parents is old, and I'm an adult, and you talking about he won the election again? Hell no. Cameroon, thank you, sister. Hell no. They just like, no, sir. And not having it. And I don't even blame them. Like, come on, man. Like, 92? Come on, man. I mean, salute to you for living that long, but come on, man. This dude, 92? This dude almost twice as old as me. Come on, man. It's time to sit down. But I know what it is. He's scared if he sit down, that's going to sit down and take that last nap. So he's trying to stay in power. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, shout out to the young people of Cameroon. They're like, hey, come on, grands. Like, what are we doing here? Hey, I'm gonna be honest. America needs to start looking around like, all right, we done had way too many people over 70 just telling people what to do. That's hey, when you get old and stale and you can't think no more, yeah. Hey, bro, listen. Let me tell you something. Everybody ain't Dr. John Henry Clark out here. You know what I'm saying? That's different. His mind is sharp as a steel trap in his 80s. Some of these other cats, nah, they ain't been in their right mind in 20 years. And listen, man. And this ain't no disrespect to the elders. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Some of our people, I was having a conversation with a barber maybe like 2 weeks ago. And we was talking, and then he basically said, I said, look, I got some new information. He's like, man, I don't care about that. And he basically said he's not open for no new information. So I was like, well, fine. And then ain't no, I was like, I've been wasting my time. How are we gonna have a debate and you not willing to intake no new information? Then there ain't nothing for us to talk about. If you stuck in the information you had from the year I was born, but I'm telling you, I got that new information has been released on the subject. Not even, this was deep. The new information I was talking about wasn't even new. It was new 30 years ago. You ain't even read that information. So You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. When you get stuck like that on yesterday's battlefield, and you don't even want to read the information that's 30 years old, what purpose you serving? What lesson you gonna teach us when you ain't hip to what's happening? That's why you got to keep young people around you so you can at least be hip to what's happening, even if you disagree with what they're saying. Their methodology for doing stuff is still something that you can utilize. If you can't learn nothing and you already dead, you just a corpse. It's a zombie. Life is about growth and development, and learning is a lifelong process. If you say I ain't taking no new information, what are we talking about here? Literally, that's anti-African. Every step of your life is a different stage of learning from an African. And what are we talking about right now? Hey, I wasn't gonna say nothing, you know what I'm saying, because I like the brother. But yeah, when he said that, I was disappointed. I just was looking at him like, all right, Bob. And then what else is there for me to say? You know, it's one thing to say I disagree with something ideologically, or I disagree with something morally. That wasn't even it. He didn't even want to take the information to even see if he agree or disagree. How you gonna disagree? You ain't read the information. But hey, that's where we was at with it. So it's gonna do real quick. Running brother Elijah's commercial. So y'all check out our brother and y'all support him with his book, Your Jewels or Your Journey.
All right, good morning everyone. My name is Elijah Lewis. I'm coming from you at the Springfield Town Center in Springfield, Virginia for the Fall Expo. But I want to take a minute to tell you about my book, Your Jewels Are in Your Journey, Life Lessons to Reach Your Optimal Self. This book is about giving us the tools we need to be our optimal self as we go about our journey. I tell everybody is that we're all on a journey, so on that journey we learn that life lessons are jewels, the people that we connect with to be better and inspire us along the way are jewels, and above all you find out that you yourself are a jewel. Because if you don't know who you are, it's hard to know where you're going. So if you're interested in learning more about me and my book or my motivational speaking, I speak on topics such as freedom from life's addictions, the reality of your vision, and many other topics. So if you want more information, go to my website, www.elijahlewis.org. You can get your copies, book me for motivational speaking, and above all, see where the journey takes you. And at the end of the day, may you find many jewels on your journey and continue to be the jewel that you are. Thank you.
All right, shout out to brother Elijah. You know, that brother's been, man, so supportive, and like top 3 straight Black Pride supporters. Supported myself, brother Genie, straight Black Pride movement, and salute to him, you know. So I appreciate that brother and his work. And man, he's one of our bright future soldiers, warrior scholars, teachers, and you know, I look forward to watching his growth and development, to be honest. So, and bro, you got don't let me go past that deep past 8 o'clock, because that ain't what I'm supposed to be doing today. You know, that ain't what I'm supposed to be doing today. But I think I'm done with this article. Let me look and see. And I think I'm pretty much done with this article. And I don't know what this website is, but I haven't heard of it before, but we're gonna go into it anyway and see what they're talking about. Oops, my bad. Says over the past year, a wave of mass protests has swept through the capitals of African states from Nairobi, to Lagos. So Nairobi, Kenya to Lagos, Nigeria, Accra, Ghana to Dakar, Senegal, Angry protesters have marched to the sound of exploding tear gas, shells, and live bullets to rail against hunger and inequality while demanding an end to IMF austerity. From June to August this year, the movement rose again with tens of thousands exploding onto the streets in Kenya, while hundreds of activists turned up at an anniversary event in Lagos, Nigeria, to reflect and map out next steps. Provoked by deep economic frustrations and lack of opportunities, these youth-led protests have shaken Africa's aging ruling class to their bones, making a forceful argument for a new social pact anchored on a paradigm of national sovereignty, inclusive growth, and social welfare. These digitally organized and decentralized Gen Z uprisings are not copycats of the youth-led movements of the 1990s and early 2000s, even though the issues that are fueling them are broadly the same. Rather, through new organizing methods, the Gen Z uprisings are reshaping the landscape of civil engagement while also showcasing the incredible power and dynamism of Africa's youth. This is seen in the sheer scale of turnout at these protests and the raw courage displayed in the face of blood-curdling repression, and in the use of social media as an organizing tool for social change. Last year's youth uprising in Kenya, which used the hashtag Reject Finance Bill 2024, is the most emblematic of this new form of youth-led activism. The movement was provoked by a raft of tax increases proposed by President William Ruto on several basic consumer products, including sanitary pads, and it was organized almost entirely on social media. Social media platforms, especially TikTok and X and Facebook, have been pivotal in mobilizing and directing the struggle, countering state propaganda, said Okaka Onyango, a 34-year-old activist from Kayole, Nairobi, who played roles in organizing the protests last year. Lacking formal structures, social media became the command center of the uprising. Organizers utilized social media to build support, pass information, organize, and direct the actions on a daily basis. The creativity of celebrities, bloggers, and TikTokers who leveraged their online influence was crucial in provoking mass participation. They helped create the atmosphere where even those who were apolitical felt called to act. Now, let me say this. Here's what they're not saying, right? Those of you all or you got rid of sound that looks like the second half of a statement. Who just needs a queen on that arm? Help me out there, because I wasn't looking to see what he's saying. What was I saying? Oh no. So this methodology very much mirrors what became the Black Lives Matter process. Like the Ferguson, like the Ferguson situation, they were out and they were organized and they were protesting when Mike Brown was assassinated. And some of them were on social media. And then the social media people that would become Black Lives Matter came and took over. And they were putting all their information on the internet, right? On Twitter. I remember that I was on Twitter. And then when Trayvon was murdered by Zimmerman, those protests were organized on Twitter, and that's really what got me back into the movement. I had been looking at I had went to the Occupy stuff to see what was going on there. I saw that wasn't us, that was all them, and it was a handful of us there. But I was like, okay, this ain't it. This ain't the time, and went back to degeneracy. But then when the Mike Brown and Trayvon and all that happened, it was like, back at it. So their methodology is very much mirroring what was happening here in what was that, 2011, 2012? Right, yeah, right, you're right. Trayvon's murder was first. But that was 2012, right? But what they're doing mirrors what people were doing in 2012 using Twitter. And I remember meeting Howard students. There were a lot of Howard students that were out, some students from some of the other colleges. And yeah, I remember just going out there with them, and there were sisters out there. And it was like, okay, this generation is ready. Like, we can make something happen here. We got, and yeah, man. Then they sent the AstroTurf out there to redirect people and push homophilia and all that, and to move any strong brothers that would have emerged out the way. And as I'm saying this, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, hey, somebody got to warn them, because they're going to use the same tactics against them. They don't know. Like, they saw what we did, but they don't know. Man. Oh, they're going to push the homophilia. They're going to put some women at the front. They're going to be pushing feminism and derail this whole thing. Oh, man. How do we tell them what's going on? Hopefully, I'm gonna have to tell Brother Jay to listen to this. He got connections on the continent. He got to hit them. I already see the play, because they're gonna hit them with the Black Lives Matter. Because why wouldn't they? It worked here. You notice 15 years later, we ain't got no movement, do we? See? It done frustrated me just thinking about it. Now, somebody could say, brother, they wouldn't think about that till you said it. Well, they would have thought about it eventually. I mean, the hat ain't slow. Yeah, we got some type of way. We gotta let them know what's gonna happen. How they gonna derail this thing? Yeah, it's. All right, I done talked myself out of being. Y'all gotta forgive me, man. I done talked myself out of being enthusiastic about this thing. Now I'm thinking about countering. I'm literally sitting here. I'm not even part of their movement. I'm literally sitting here thinking about how they can counter the strategy that's going to be used to counter what they're doing right now. Oh man. Yeah. So see, we only got a handful of people in the house tonight. Interesting. We had 60 people last night. We started with 60 people. Then I think I don't know if we started talking about money or we showed the advertisement for lost tapes or whatever. But yeah, we started showing some commercials, and we got down to about 40. Then we got back up to 50. And then all those people, they're like, all right, we heard what Jenny got to say, and we out. Appreciate y'all though. Appreciate y'all. But what time is it? Okay, it's almost 1:15. Let me say this. Even though those of you who are still here, I appreciate you all. Y'all already know. I'm your host, DC Radical 1. Follow me on Instagram at DC.Radical1, on Twitter at DC Radical_ONE, on Threads, which I've been on a little bit more lately, DC.Radical1, and OTW2 at DC Radical 1. And if you're enjoying this show or any of the shows of the past, you can donate via Cashapp, $DC Radical 1. And you can email me at dc.radical_1 at protonmail.com. I will be releasing, starting next week, I'll be releasing some of my lectures, probably one per week, and they'll be available. And you can just email me and they'll be available. Digital download. So I'll have clips and stuff as just like as a lost tapes clips, except it won't be as long. I won't yeah, I figured that, brother. You see rainbow people already in the Kenyan movement. Yeah, I figured that. It's disappointing just talking about it. But yeah, so just for those who don't know, some of the things that are covered, of course, death and rebirth for godless black woman. I still do not have a good copy of Memorandum 46. Maybe one day I'll just do that, a definitive one for that. So that won't be included, unfortunately. Africa versus everybody, hidden enemies, Dr. Khaled Day celebration. Africa versus everybody, the original. We exist because we resisted, and the truth about COVID. There's one more somewhere in there, but I can't remember. It's not that I've done so many lectures; it's that I haven't done them in so long because I don't have a venue anymore, and I don't think there's an interest anymore since the anti-African movement. And brother, you got ripped off told me that we got there's like an anti-knowledge movement going on, where people think they know everything, but they're illiterate. They can't read, but they know everything. I'm not sure how that works, but whatever it is, I don't want it. So I don't know. That's what's happening right now. That's the state of our people. If you're not N-wording and B-wording and mumble rapping and basically being ignorant degenerate, no one cares unless you got money, right? Like, you cannot be that, but if you got money, then but other than that, people don't care. That's the state of our people. You know what I'm saying? That's a condition. It is what it is. The hat has done an excellent job of making us into the stereotypes that he says we are, and we don't particularly care to fight it, because unfortunately now, if you're not over 40, you don't remember what black people were before hip-hop and crap. I mean, it is it is what it is. It's been a long time, right? It's been a long time, unfortunately. So I'm gonna do it real quick. I'm gonna run 2 more commercials, and then I think close out after that. Brother, you got ripped off said, have I seen the article talking about Georgia's wealthy illiterate black man? I have not, brother. Send me that on Telegram. That already sent it. But yeah, shout out to our sisters for their contributions and running their commercials.
Straight Black Pride family. This is Asha Sekmat, and I am so grateful to be seeing my brother Ayo Kimathi running for the state senator position for the 41st district. This is exciting news because my personal testimonial is that Irritated Genie, he has sparked my level of consciousness, awareness, and getting connected to the deeper parts of my roots, my ancestry, and my culture. I would not be where I am today if it was not for the work that Brother Ayo Kimathi has done for our community. We always talk about protect Black women and children. Well, here's our opportunity. Donate for the brother. Also share and connect with other people to share why it's so important that we have strong Black men as representative in our leadership who have done the work, who have been doing this work and continue to dedicate their life to helping us and protecting us. Let people know, advocate for Brother Ayo Kimathi. I am endlessly grateful for the work that he has done and the service that he has put into our community. Now, I also want to mention that, of course, we align in the Mahi community with the values and principles of the Straight Black Pride movement. We represent a community that goes to divine feminine and divine masculine harmonization. We talk about ancient indigenous practices going back to our original culture. That includes family practices like polygamy, sharing with our sisters, our husband, and making sure that our children are taken care of. Also, Tantra. These are indigenous sacred intimacy practices between man and woman. We're going back to our original culture. If you want to learn more about the Mahi community life system, then you can connect with me on ashasekmet.com. You can learn more about this ancient wisdom and sacred energy practices at our upcoming event, New Earth Consciousness, that is going to be Wednesdays, November the 12th, 19th, and 26th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can RSVP on my website. That is, I am Asha Sekmet on all social media platforms. And we have a live Q&A this Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can come and ask questions so that you can begin your initiations and learning back to connect on a soul level who you were really meant to be. And special shout out to my brother, DC. I absolutely love and commend you for all the work and the service that you do for our community.
Yeah, so shout out to our sister, Asha Segment for that. And oh yeah, my bad. I got one more commercial. Hold up.
I feel disconnected. Every word you speak can retune your soil. When you remap your soil, you remap your world.
Breathe your way home.
And of course, the Muntu Meadows is the company run by our sister Najee. Joining us tomorrow, Sister Najee. Let me know if you'll be joining us tomorrow. And so tomorrow, SBO Talk. First of all, I'm gonna be off in a few minutes, so that gives y'all time to run over to Sister Asha Segment and see if Well, she's cooking up at 8:30 today, I believe, right? I think she has a Q&A 8:30 today. So y'all be sure to check that out. And Sister Najee will be joining us tomorrow. We talk about who is black and who is qualified to speak for black people. I think I'm waiting for confirmation for her. Maybe she got she had to step away. But yeah, so that's what we're doing tomorrow. That should be an interesting discussion. I look forward to it. And I'll be working on that tonight and into tomorrow. So as far as this discussion goes, I think pretty much. All right, brother. You take charge of your post, brother. You got to be before they straight black pride. Oh yeah, nah. Let me finish this article. I'll finish this article, then I'll be ready to close out. I'm back. It says, at its height, the movement that has brought tens of thousands of protesters to the street, showcasing the incredible organizing prowess of young people. Well, let me say this, right? Y'all know I've said this before. There's a difference between organization and mobilization. Thus far, what they've been able to do is mobilize. We will see if they are able to organize, because if they're able to organize, then they should be able to then liberate their countries. So there is a marked difference between those two things. And I wish I had loaded that clip. You said Sister ISP is having a meeting here. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. But like I was saying, there's a difference between organization and mobilization. And thus far, they've shown the capacity to mobilize, but have not thus far shown the capacity to organize. And, gotta be forever thankful for Baba Kwame Ture for making it understood what the difference is between these two concepts, because as he said, much confusion is to be found here. Those were his exact words. The confusion between organization and mobilization has probably tripped up a lot of movements in the last 50 years, right? It says that, let me go back, because I didn't miss something. But I was too busy making my point. It says at its height, now tens of thousands. Said on June 25th, 2024, Kenya's youth breached the parliament in an incredible display of collective rage that set alarm bells ringing among elite circles across the continent. Ruto was forced to withdraw the hated finance bill, but this did not pacify the movement, which at that stage was calling for the president's resignation, and still should be calling for the president's resignation. The same pattern could be seen in the End Bad Governance protests that erupted in Nigeria from August 1st to August 10th, 2024. Similar to the End SARS protests that were provoked by police brutality in 2020, the End Bad Governance protests against fuel subsidy removal, hunger, and hardship could be described as a digitally organized revolt. It originated from a call on Twitter and TikTok in June 2024 for Nigerians to consider shutting down the country for 10 days in August. The call came as the anti-finance bill protest in Kenya was unfolding. As a result, it resonated with many young Nigerians who were frustrated with cost of living crisis. Well, hell, if that's the case, people in America should be tearing down all types of stuff. But, we'd rather fall for AstroTurf movements. Nigerians felt that they had enough from a government that cares so little about them and is more interested about how to enrich big businessmen and other members of the ruling class, said Aderamoye Michael. How do you get the last name Michael out of that? Anyway, one of the organizers who announced Goodness. Now standing trial for treason. Goodness. As the weeks rolled by, this call began to gain traction as people commented and engaged with the call on social media. By the first week of July, the government, which had managed to avoid any significant opposition since it came to power in May 2023, could no longer ignore the unfolding situation. Then came the threats and intimidation from the government, ruling party officials and thugs, the police and the army. But all those only stiffened the resolve of young people to go forward. Ruling party officials and thugs and the police. Yeah, a lot of times the thugs and the police are one and the same. In both Kenya and Nigeria, the Gen Z uprisings broke out in an atmosphere of political stasis, where the old traditional forces of struggle like trade unions and political opposition parties are either retreated from the front lines or been discredited by their politics. For example, the movement in Kenya erupted outside of the influence of the country's political opposition because its collaborationist politics don't sit well with young people who desire a clean break with the status quo. In the case of Nigeria, the protests erupted after the youth had watched in frustration as the country's powerful trade unions dragged their feet for over 1 year without fighting back against President Bola Tinubu's neoliberal reform. As early as June 2023, the country's leading trade union federation, the Nigerian Labor Congress, called a general strike against Tinubu's Inauguration Day declaration that he would remove a crucial oil subsidy, but the union soon backtracked and called it off. Therefore, the Gen Z uprising unfolded in a context defined by a deep mistrust of leadership, hence the decentralized nature of these movements and their lack of formal coordinating structures. Instead, local volunteers, often made up of inexperienced but impassioned youth, were the heartbeat of the protest both in Nigeria and Kenya. They played the most important roles at the community levels, determining how daily protests were organized and funds were raised to print leaflets, placards, banners, and provide other logistics. They also mobilized legal and medical aid to support protesters when they were arrested or injured. No single leader meant no easy target for the state, Onyango added. That is how we managed to survive amidst the attacks of the police and state-sponsored goonism and terror, like what we witnessed recently, including a weaponization of rape and shoot to incapacitate orders. Hey man, let me stop right here, man. I don't know what's going on the continent with all of this sexual violation stuff. This degeneracy is disgusting and horrific, and somebody got to take a stand and call this stuff out. I've seen way too much of this. You see it in the Congo, you see it in Sudan, Darfur, South Sudan. Now he's saying Kenya, Tanzania. We've been around them folks. This is crazy. Let me get back to this article. Yes, I just say that. Let's see. It says, rather than a handicap, the Gen Z protest, decentralized leadership contributed to the movement's resilience and its ability to reemerge on the street in the face of repression. Lacking centralized leadership didn't mean a lack of coordination. Experienced activists were always available to offer guidance. The role of civil society organizations and socialist groups in strengthening these uprisings cannot be discounted, even though they're rarely acknowledged in the mainstream media. And now, I really got to start researching some of these organizations, because you might find out that some of this stuff is even closer to Black Lives Matter than I thought, and not in a good way. It says in Nigeria, young activists from the Democratic Socialist Movement, Youth Rights Campaign, Joint Action Fund, and Take It Back movement, and several other civic groups played important roles in several cities in providing coordination for the struggle. In Kenya, several civic groups and activists, including the Kongamano la Mapinduzi and the Revolutionary Socialist League, among others, also played important roles. Apart from immersing themselves in organizing tasks, the role of socialists and activists in the movement was, according to Onyango, to provide ideological understanding for the uprising, political education, equips the recipients with the tools to effectively analyze their society and form their own conclusions on what is working and what is not, and who is responsible for what is not working, added Walimu Mutemi Wakiyama, an activist and member of Tangamano la Mapinduzi. My apologies. Been hundreds of years since I've spoken my language. It says political education equips Gen Z with the agency as active citizens to try and find solutions, as well as plan and execute civic and political actions that will address what they perceive needs fixing. Resilience. Another significant attribute of the Gen Z uprising is its remarkable resilience. 1 year after they erupted, these movements remain strong despite the inexperience of the young organizers and the scale of straight repression that they have suffered. At least 23 protesters were killed during the protests in Kenya last year, yet they didn't stop tens of thousands of young Kenyans from re-emerging on the street again this year on the anniversaries of protests against the 2024 finance bill and the Saba pro-democracy protests several decades ago. Since colonial times, the Kenyan state has used repression to silence the people quite effectively, but Gen Z is proving to be a different breed, Kiyama said. The more the state represses them through abductions, extrajudicial murders, and brutalization in the street, the more the movement grows. The numbers in the street of these movement anniversaries on June 25th and July 7th this year were unlike any seen in Kenya before, with protests in 27 countries. 31 Kenyans have been shot dead by police over the months of June and July, with hundreds injured by bullets and batons, and hundreds arrested and charged with terrorism. But the people keep coming. Although the momentum in Nigeria is slower, the movement has exhibited remarkable resiliency despite the killing of over 20 protesters, what Amnesty International described as Bloody August. The repression, I can get it out, by the security forces has emboldened the movement for more action, said Osubo Blessing, a 30-year-old female baker who participated in the protest. I was part of the protesters harassed and beaten at the Lekki toll gate by the Nigerian police last year, but that was never stopped me from calling out the government for its anti-poor policies. Over the past year, the in-bag government's protests have overcome their spontaneous origin. They have morphed into an organized movement through the creation of WhatsApp groups linking activists and organizers from different communities and regions together. This trend is more pronounced in Nigeria's economic capital of Lagos, where the chapter of the movement continues to hold digital congresses on WhatsApp and Zoom to plan demonstrations, especially the campaign for the release of over 1,400 protesters incarcerated nationwide in the aftermath of the protests. This, in addition to the campaign pushing to drop treason charges against Aderomoye Michael and 10 others. As a result, the movement in Lagos has re-emerged on the streets at least 4 times since the nationwide protests last year. Every time the 11 activists on trial appeared in court served as opportunities for the movement to take the streets. This has kept the movement alive, and active despite repression. Due to its resilience, the in-bag government movement recently secured the support of notable figures in the global labor and socialist movements, like former member of British Parliament Jeremy Corbyn and Dave Nellis, for the campaign to free the activists from trial. So I'm going to stop right there, brothers. So as we see, the spirit of revolution is taking hold on the continent amongst the young people, and they're doing what they feel is necessary to liberate themselves and their countries from neo-colonialism, neoliberal colonial policies, and general corruption and incompetence that's going on amongst the leadership. So we salute them and we wish them victory. And I would just say to them, if anybody comes from Nigeria, Tanzania, any of the other places that we covered, Kenya, I'll just say this, man, be very careful about infiltration from people who want to corrupt what you're doing and take it in the wrong direction. I'll just put it like that, because we've seen that here. We saw that in America, and it totally destroyed the budding movement that we had about 15 years ago. So, with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to come back tomorrow for SBL Talk. Apparently, Sister Najee will not be joining me, so I'll be doing that one apparently by myself, unfortunately. And hopefully next week we can get back to. Oh yeah, my bad. Let me say this. Friday, I'm gonna set it to re-upload the Irritated JD interview on Friday, and then I'll have some clips and cut-ups playing over the weekend on Saturday, Sunday. Well, not on Saturday, but on Sunday and the rest of the week. I'll have some clips and cut-ups from that and from some of our other episodes. And I will re-upload the other videos that they took, but they didn't take down, but they limited the views because of music. I had edit those and put those up. So, yeah, so from almost every day next week, y'all should have content, even if it's not live, because there's a lot of stuff that I've done that isn't up on the channel because of limitations or editing or whatever the case may be. So just be on the lookout for that. But I'll be live tomorrow, ancestors willing, and then I'll just be putting up stuff to go out all through the week, and hopefully we get some views and everything from that. So with that, brothers and sisters, again, I'll see you all in about 21, 22 hours, hopefully. And I'll say it's BB for ODA and straight black pride.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical, the numeral 1. On Twitter, we're at DC_radical_ONE. And the Cashapp is $DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.